Namaste and welcome everyone to our special webinar on lessons from the Valmiki Ramayana. My name is Ankur Patel. I am the Director of Advancement for Hindu University of America, and our special guest is Sri Shantanu Gupta. And I know a lot of people are joining us from around the world. If you want to put in the chat, we have Sybil from New Mexico and folks from New York and Villa Park in California, Toronto, just people from all over the world zooming in. We have about 60 people on with us today. We had over 200 people register. I'm going to give folks a quick second to put in the chat where you are zooming in from. Shantanu Ji is in Noida, Uttar Pradesh. Yes, thank you for typing that in there. And make sure everyone can see it. You can type either to the host or the panelists, make sure everyone can see it. I see some people sending it just to me. I appreciate it. So today's webinar on the Valmiki Ramayana and the lessons we can learn. And one of the key phrases that really touched me, and as I learn more and become more plugged in, is how the Ramayana is not just a history or a mythology, it's an itihasa, right? An archetypal history. It transcends and subsumes Western categories of history and mythology. It is a timeless story that has implications and draws from what it's like to be human and applies them to different situations. And so in this webinar, we're going to take a look at the lessons that the Ramayana holds for us today in our own lives, right? How can we attune ourselves to its timeless call? And how do we set about searching for meaning and teachings for our own life in our own in these times from this ancient epic? And our special guest who's going to lead us in this webinar is Sri Shantanu Gupta, who's actually the founder of the Ramayana School. He's an Indian author, TEDx speaker, political analyst. You may have seen him on TV. He's widely published. One of his latest books, BJP, Past, Present, and Future, is leading the charts on Amazon. He also wrote a book, one of the most memorable nonfiction books of 2017, The Monk Who Became Chief Minister, a biography on Yogi Adityanath. And, he's got a deep degree in education and different experiences, but he represents India in many international conferences on economics, on policy, from Germany to Malaysia, Sri Lanka. And here with Hindu University of America, we're glad to have him on this webinar, and we're going to announce you probably heard about it, but he's going to be teaching a course also on the Ramayana in the fall quarter, and we're going to get into that. So again, thank you for joining us for this special webinar. Sri Shantanu Ji, thank you for joining us. And let me hand it off to you, and I'll help manage the Zoom on the background. And thank you everyone for joining us. Shantanu Ji, let me hand it over to you.
Namaskar, Ankuji. Am I audible properly?
Yes.
Okay. Lovely to see so many people. Ankurji, thanks for that lovely introduction. And I use a tool for my class, so I'm giving a link to all of you. Just give me a second. I'm giving a link to all of you so that we all can interact. We play some quizzes. I want to take some response. Yeah. I'm giving the link in the chat window. Can all of you come on that link? But anyway, I'm sharing my screen. So that if you're not interested, is my screen visible, Ankurji?
Yes, perfect. And the link is
right?
working. So if you haven't clicked it, please click that menti.com link and join us interactively for this.
Beautiful. Yeah, just let me keep the chat window open so that I can see. Okay. Zoom gives you so many windows, right? Yeah. In this last 1.5 year, if nothing else, we got trained on every possible web tool, right? Don't see the link yet. Shriji, just see this link. Do you see this link on the chat window? Yatriji, do you see this link in the chat window? See this link, menti.com and something. Yeah, this link. You just click this link. You will see the same kind of visual what you're seeing when I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, this is the link. Yeah, Ankurji, okay.
Yeah, I think you were just typing into the host and panelists. I just dropped it again. There you
go. Okay. No I didn't realize. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you.
This is the link. Yeah, this is the link. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so Ankurji, with all your permission, shall I take the journey of Ramayana?
Yes, let's
And
begin.
you know what is Ramayana? Ramayana is Rama's yana. Yana means journey. Is the Rama's journey. So yeah, in our 10 weeks course, we take a longest journey, but today we'll take a 40-45 minutes journey into Ramayana, right? Okay. So namaskar, I'm Shantanu Gupta, as Ankurji told, founder of Ramayana School, calling you currently from, I call it Yogi Adityanath, Uttar Pradesh, from Noida to be precise, very near to national capital Delhi. Okay, okay. So let's take a small. I'll try to make you just do a small preview how our longest 10 weeks uh, fall course will go. So can you just tell me which city, state, country are you in? Okay, just give me a second. Just give me a second. Let me flush if there's some previous results. Let me just flush if there's some previous results, if at all. Uh-huh. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Canada, Kingston, Ontario, Fremont, Villa Park. Oh my God. Beautiful. Beautiful. And this will also make me understand that you all are on the link. I'll also get to know where are you from, which you already typed in the chat, but this will make you familiar with how to respond. How to respond. Vasviji
Yes,
on the lane.
so some people are putting their location in the chat again, but if you click this link and then through there, we're going through a presentation that is now being shown on Shantanu Ji's screen. So please click that link and put that information in
Yeah,
through the Menti website.
exactly. So that I'll get to know that is it working for all of you. Okay, the 80 plus people, beautiful, beautiful picture emerging. And it's heartening to see on a Saturday morning, so many of us are learning Ramayana together. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Okay, Kamalji, but Kamalji, you are also using the link, right? Okay. Okay. So we are from so many places. Beautiful, beautiful. Let me ask you one thing. I'm sure you all know the basic story of Ramayana, the storyline that Rama was born, Rama got married to Mata Sita, they went to exile, Mata Sita got kidnapped, then there was an alliance between Ram Lakshman and Hanumanji and Sugriva, and there's a massive fight, and Rama came as a winner. Right. Okay. All of you, come on the link, please. Come on the link. It'll be fun. I'll be doing a quiz also. I see 24 responses, but there are almost 86 people. So come, all of you. Come, all of you on the link. You will have fun. Beautiful. More and more people are coming. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay. So you know the basic story. Now tell me, from where did you learn your Ramayana? Was it Ramanand Sagarji's TV serial, the very famous one? Or you read the original 24,000 shlokas of Valmiki Ramayana, or the full Tulsi Ramayana, or you read some comic book, some story book, Amarchit Katha, or the famous Indian tradition, the oral tradition from parents, grandparents, friends, teachers, gurus. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I'm sure all of you able to see those graphs emerging on my screen, right? Uh-huh. Okay. Ramanand Sagarji and the grandparents. These are the two big piles. Ah. And Guruji, this graph always makes me sad and happy, both. You know why? Happy that okay, everyone has some good source of learning Ramayana, but sad that the original readers are very few. The
Yes.
original readers, and that's the problem with we as a civilization, that we have not read our original text, right? And when I did this in last 4-5 years, it was like almost like a revelation for me. It was a new life for me, and every time I read it, I get a new layer uncovered for me. That oh wow, there's one more text. Whatever inquiry I read the text, I got a new sense of Valmiki Ramayana. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, lovely, lovely. Okay, uh-huh. Okay, so when you all know some Ramayana, can I do a small test? Because you already told that you know Ramayana, right? So let's do a small, maybe some 7-8 questions, factual questions. Okay, uh-huh. Okay. So it will prompt for your name again, so that it will show a leaderboard. No? Menti has his own leaderboarding thing. Yeah. Oh, it's just 8 questions. All of you. All of you. How is Valmiki Ramayana story different from Ramcharitmanas? Was Sita abducted in Valmiki Ramayana? Sita ji was abducted in Valmiki Ramayana. Maybe towards the end, Shamji will take these questions also. That how is Valmiki Ramayana difference from Acharya Tulsi's Ramcharitmanas, or what was the need of Ramcharitmanas? You may ask, right? When Valmiki Ramayana is already written, right? Uh-huh. Okay. So 34 of you have joined. I'll wait for half a minute. If more of you can join on the link, let me sip of water meanwhile. Okay. Okay. So here we start the quiz. Here we start the quiz. On your screens now. Don't write in the chat window. Who wrote original Ramayana? There are a lot of Ramayanas, but who wrote the original one? Who's the original author? Rishi Valmiki, Rishi Vashishta, Rishi Vedvyasa, Rishi Vishwamitra. In fact, I have already commented on that. Rishi Valmiki it is. Okay. So we know the author. We know the author. We know the author. And let me ask you one more thing. So Valmiki Ramayana. Okay. So tell me, was Rishi Valmiki contemporary of Lord Rama? So was the author and the protagonist, the hero of the story, were they living on this planet Earth at the same time? Did they interact? Did they talk to each other? Did they knew each other? Yes, 64%, you're right. They knew each other, the interaction between both of them. In fact, later Mata Sita and Lava Kush lived in Valmiki Ji's ashram. Beautiful. Okay, so we know about something about the author, and that the author and the protagonist of this story were coexisting. Now, let us know in which language Valmiki Ramayana is written. And that will give you one of the sense that why Ramcharitmanas has to be written. Sanskrit, Pali, Awadhi, or Hindi. In which language is Valmiki Ramayana written? It's written in Sanskrit. It's written in Sanskrit. And you know, Valmiki Ramayana, as per different dating, and if I go by Dr. Nilesh Oak's dating, it's almost 14,000 years old, right? Ramcharitmanas is a rather a very new text. Like new text, keeping in mind Indian civilization is thousands and thousands of years old. So 500 years old for us is a very new thing, right? In fact, I remember a joke, Ankurji. I was working in Switzerland, like in my previous life, I call it, when I was in a banker 10 years back. So on a weekend, one of my Swiss colleagues said, "Today I'll take you to an old building, like an old fort." I said, okay, let's go. He drove me and he showed me some chota sa, some small tiny building, and he said, "This is 80 years old building." I said, my grandfather's house is older than that. 80 years old is not old for an Indian, right? So that's why I'm saying 500 years old, Ramcharitmanas is not old for us, right? Because Valmiki Ramayana is 14,000 years old. Because the need was, by the time, because of a lot of invasions, Muslim invasions, Sanskrit was not getting percolated, right? So Acharya Tulsi thought that, okay, let's stuck with the language. Let me write the same Ramayana in the language which is accessible today, which is Awadhi, right? And so he wrote Ramcharitmanas in Awadhi. Okay, beautiful. Let me, with that, so during our sessions also, with every quiz question, there is some information packed. Okay, Valmiki Ramayana is divided into 7 parts, right? And during our sessions, we spend almost 1 full day or 2-3 hours on each of these parts. What are these parts called? Are they called sargas, shlokas, kandas, or parvas? They are called kandas. Thank you. They are called kans. Now, when you already know they are called kans, let me ask about how many shlokas. So in 7 kans, how many shlokas? We say it's one of the very heavy, one of the biggest epics, right? 108, 1008, 24,000, or 5,000? 24,000. And can someone tell me in the chat how many shlokas Mahabharata has? So Ramayana has 24,000 shlokas. Shlokas means two-line couplets, almost 12 to 13 words. 7 words in one line, 14 words. So 14 into 24,000. Exactly, it has 1 lakh, or as you call in USA, 100,000. 100,000. It comes not so naturally to me, 100,000. We are lakhs and crores types. Okay, yeah, it has 100,000, almost 4 times of what Ramayana has. Can we do a small calculation? I'm sure a lot of you are good in maths. Even if I read or understand 20 shlokas a day, how many days will I take to read Valmiki Ramayana? 20 shloka is quite a thing. I read a shloka, I read his meaning, I do word by word meaning. It will take me like at least 10-15 minutes to go through one shloka. So let's say if I spend 1.5 2 hours, and okay, so 1200 days. And 1200 days is how many years? Vaibhavji, 1200 days is how many years roughly? Around 4 years. And I'm assuming I'm doing it every day, right? 365 days, which may not be possible. So almost 5 years, right? So 5-year project. We are trying to, and I have done this work for you and met a lot of scholars, synthesize my knowledge, and trying to present that in a summer course, as Ankurji said, so that, and also I try to leave this hunger in my participant that they go back after the session, read that, do this 3-4 years project themselves with their family, and read whole Valmiki Ramayana word by word. Even if you don't know Sanskrit, there are very good translations available. Beautiful. Okay. So now you will not forget Ramayana has 24,000 shlokas. You have done some calculation around it. Okay. Let me ask you some more thing around the Kans. In which Kand of Valmiki Ramayana, Mata Sita was kidnapped? The whole story got turned on his head. Which Kand was that? Bal Kand, Kishkinda Kand, Yudh Kand, or Aranya Kand? Which Kand was that? It was Aranya Kand. And what is the meaning of what the word Aranya? Can someone tell me in the chat? What is the meaning of the word Aranya, Villaji? Aranya is a forest, is a jungle, exactly. Because they were spending time in jungle. And do you know which place exactly? Which place, from which place she got kidnapped? In Aranya also. Aranya was from almost Ayodhya till Panchwati. And where is Panchwati in today's India? Where is Panchwati in today's India? Which state? Which district? Nasik. Wow, we have a lovely audience. Beautiful, beautiful. Nasik, Maharashtra, you pinned it. And Panchwati is still a place you can go. There is a legend of Sita Gufa still there. So lovely, is it? And in our classes, I also take you through a online journey of the whole Ramayana circuit from Ayodhya to Lanka. Beautiful, beautiful. A Ramayana atlas, so to say. Okay, let me ask you 2 more questions and then I'll jump to the some essence of Ramayana. In which Kand Rama is born, right? Rama should take birth because it's Ramayana, is Rama's yatra, Rama's journey. So Rama should take birth. Yuddha Kand, Ayodhya Kand, Bal Kand, or Aranya Kand. Deepaji, you will have fun if you do the same thing in the link. Balakand. Bala means Balak, the childhood, and he took birth in Balakand. Now my last question. Yeah, last question. So Rama is born. Vishnu ji took 7th avatar, and Rama is born. He took avatar to defeat Ravana. And in which Kand did he defeat Ravan? Balkand, Yuddh Kand, Kishkinda Kand, or Ayodhya Kand? Yuddh Kand it is. Little intuitive. The defeat will happen in a Yuddh, right? Yeah, okay. Beautiful. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, beautiful. I don't know who RRG is. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, congratulations, RRG. Beautiful, beautiful. It was just to warm you all up on a Saturday morning, right? Okay. Now let me establish Ramayana for you, right? During this webinar and during a larger summer course, fall course, we will go through Valmiki Ramayana. There are various Ramayana. There's Tulsi Ramayana, there's Kalidas Ramayana, there's Kamban Ramayana, Adhyatma Ramayana. There are modern Ramayans also. Amish Tripathi has written some versions of Ramayana. There are a lot of Ramayans, right? We will go to the original text, which has 7 kands, from Balkand to Uttarakand, and 645 chapters, which are called sargas, and 24,000 shlokas, right? Balakand, Ayodhya Kand, Aranyakand, Kishkinda Kand, Sundarkand, Yuddhakand, and Uttarkand, right? In some versions, they ended at Yuddhakand. In some versions, they extended after the Yuddha also, the love kush life, right? That's Uttarkand. Whatever it may be, what I'll do, so we use a lot of tools, the original story, we pick a lot of leadership lessons, we keep quizzing you, a lot of fact checking. I leave you with a lot of Ramayana idioms, which you can use in your daily life, right? Okay, do you want to tell me? Do you want to tell me some idioms that are coming out of Ramayana? Do you use in your life or you heard in some conversation? Any idiom, any phrase which you use? So let's say Lakshman Rekha. That's a very common one, right? Don't cross the Lakshman Rekha. Don't cross the Lakshman Rekha, right? Or there is a one Prana Jai par Vachan na Jai. Your promise should be so strong. Yeah, Kumbhkaran ki tarah sona, exactly, Punam ji. Like you sleeping like Kumbhkaran. Vinash Kale Viparit Buddhi. Ravan got in Vinash Kale, he got Viparit Buddhi. He never heard anyone. Beautiful, beautiful. Contribute. Yeah, Janani Janbhumischa. Beautiful. So what I'll do in my session, what I make sure that I'll give you many more idioms which you can use in your life, right? I want the Ramayana to travel to our breakfast discussions, our coffee table discussions, our dinner discussions, right? Okay. And then we use a tool, trace Rama and Ravana within you. I think we all have Rama qualities within us. We all have Ravana qualities within us. But the idea is, can we identify them and keep increasing our Rama qualities and keep decreasing our Ravana qualities? That's the quest I will try to take you in a little bit here today and in a longish way during our fall course. And as I promised, I also take you through Ramayana tourism, the whole Ramayana circuit, how it starts from Ayodhya and lands in Lanka. Okay. So let me take you through 2-3 examples how we touch upon the essence of Ramayana. So let's start from Balakand. And this is the picture I clicked from my mobile camera, and I'm quite fond of this picture. You know why? Because it's from a beautiful place. Can you guess, any one of you, where is this picture from? Where I might have clicked this picture? It's an easy guess. Whatever comes to mind, that's the answer. It's Ayodhya. It's Ayodhya, Sonaji. And Ankurji is the entry of Ayodhya. So if you enter Ayodhya, it's like a big pillar. And luckily, me with my big team of 150, 200 artists, we took almost 200 artists 3 years back to Ayodhya, made them live there just before Corona. And we got almost 10,000 square feet of wall from government, white painted wall. And we painted Ramayana murals all across, right? So this is like a fat big pillar. So this is like a giant picture, right? You have to use a stair and all, right? And Ramayana is known, Ayodhya is known for the Bala Roop of Rama, right? The child form of Rama. That's why, otherwise, child form of Rama picture is not very common. If you see Rama, Rama is like a warrior, right? With a bow and arrow, right? In fact, what should I do to make this picture a Krishna picture? Tell me, what should I add? What should I delete? This nice, okay, I painted blue. And what should I add? There are typical things of Rama. They're typical peacock feather, mayur pank, add a peacock feather. Yeah, maybe float some butter around, add a flute. And what should I remove? I have to remove something from this picture. I should remove something from this picture. Aha, Ankurji, you gave the hint. I have to remove the bow and arrow. Krishnji was the chakra guy, right? Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, with that, let me take you to Balakan. So Balakan, Rama is born. He's getting trained with Vashishta Rishi, and then come Vishwamitra Rishi and takes Rama and Lakshman for a practical training. So the classroom training happens with Vashishta Rishi, and the field training happens with Vishwamitra Ji. And Vishwamitra Ji is telling them Bhagirath story, that how river Ganga brought to earth. He was the first hydraulic engineer who made such a path for river Ganga to come to earth. And that's why whenever there's a massive thing happening, I want to compliment someone, I don't use the British term Herculean effort. I try to use the word what a Bhagirath effort. What Hindu University of America is doing, it's a Bhagirath effort to take the Hindu thought, Hindu ideas, Hindu scholarship to the globe, right? That's a Bhagirath effort, right? We don't even know exactly who Herculean was, right? So let's leave Hercules there. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so now tell me, when Vishwamitra ji is taking, Rama and Lakshmana face their first crisis in form of a Rakshasa. Which Rakshasa was that? Because till now they were just training in the classroom, right? But finally they faced a real crisis because now they're going for a real training, right? Earlier this was a classroom training on the target, not to enemy, not to enemy. Uh-huh. Okay, on the link, all of you, all of you. Talka it was, Talka it was, Talka it was. Okay, so the first crisis that Rama faced in his life was Talka. And now the next 4-5 minutes, let's discuss the how we face crisis in our life, right? We all get crisis in our life. How do we face it? And then we'll try to juxtapose it how Rama would have faced that crisis, right? So tell me, I'm putting you a hypothetical situation and reply with a true heart. Don't give me a goody nice answer. You are in New Delhi. You have a flight to catch to USA. You are getting late. You may miss the flight. You are stuck in traffic. It costed you almost $10,000 for four of you. You have to attend something very important. What will you do? I will not get to know who is answering what. So please leave your guilt behind. Tell me, what will you do? A challan, a ticket will cost you how much? $10. So it's a fight between $10 and $10,000. A challan will not cost you more than $10, and there's a low probability you'll get a challan, right? So you will break the red light, you'll take a wrong U-turn, you'll overspeed, or you will follow all the traffic rules and you will throw $10,000 ticket out of the window. You say, okay, I will buy another ticket. Okay, okay. So I know. So 13%, only 13% people will follow the traffic, and rest, whatever, 87% will do something or the other, right? Right? Okay. So this is, if I can call you all my modern Rams and Lakshmans, right? This is what they will do. Let's see what Rama has done when he faced the crisis, right? Because we are studying about Ramayana, right? So this crisis called Talaka was standing in front. Vishwamitra says, okay, Ram, go ahead. This is what I brought you for. Go ahead, eliminate her. And Rama takes the best of the arrow, targets, and then pulls the string. And as he was about to lose the arrow, he says, no, I'll not kill her. I cannot kill her. Vishwamitra says, why on the earth, man? Like, this is the purpose I brought you on. And if you will not eliminate her, she will not wait for long. She will end up gobbling up us up, right? It's almost like a Arjuna kind of dilemma, which Arjuna faced in the battleground, right? And here the dilemma was that she's a woman. I can't hurt a woman. I'm being taught I'll not hurt a woman. And then there was a beautiful dialogue between Vishwamitra ji and Ram. So the Ram's moral compass is still on. It's not that, oh, it's an enemy, it's a crisis, let me just solve it and move ahead. Right? Right? And there's a conversation, and Vishwamitra ji says, you are right, my son. Even I teach the same thing to my disciples, to my kids. Right? But she's only in the body of a woman. She doesn't have the qualities of the woman. She doesn't have the daya, karuna, mamta. She doesn't have the compassion, the motherhood feeling of a woman. She kills children. She kills women. She kills rishis. She kills men. Right? So in the larger dharma, it's okay to eliminate her. And when Rama's moral compass got satisfied, then only he launched his arrow. Right? Right? And the lesson I want to derive, uphold highest of the moral standards even in the time of crisis. See, when we read Ramayana, why are we reading Ramayana for? It's a gold standard on morality, right? Reading Ramayana multiple times last almost 4-5 years, it has given me an ethical framework, Ankurji, for me to decide. And I'm sure you all will agree, every moment we decide something, right? On a Saturday morning, 100 plus people attending Ramayana with you, it's a decision that you have made. I'm sure they are competing choices, right? We make small decisions, what to eat, what to wear, whom to marry, whom to partner, whom to work with, which country to live in. There are a lot of decisions that we take in life, right? Which vaccine to take, right? These shall I take a booster dose or not? Whatever, right? Sorry, it's lesson number 3 because I picked only some lessons from my own larger course. Someone is asking where are lesson number 1 and 2. So I'm just picked some of, because it's a small webinar from a larger course that we do, right? Uh, right. And Ramayana provides an ethical framework by seeing that how Rama reacted in certain situation, how Dashrath reacted in certain situation, how Bharat, Dashrath, Sita, so many beautiful characters behaved in a beautiful, in such a manner, right? So here, what I was able to derive that uphold highest of the moral standard, even when the crisis called Talaka is standing in front of you, begin strong. You solve your moral dilemma first, and then when your moral compass was satisfied, then only you moved ahead. Okay, okay. After that, Vishwamitra took Ramji to Janak's darbar. He broke the dhanush. Ram and Mata Sita got married, and when they came back, they got Kanak Bhavan as a gift. Such a lovely gift, is it, right? And this is also a picture I clicked myself. I keep going to Ayodhya very often. Yeah. In fact, it'll be lovely, right? Once this Corona thing is over, you all should come down and travel to Ayodhya before the temple is. Because once the temple is there, right? I'm telling you, it'll be a hell lot of place to go there, right? It'll be damn crowded, right? So you should once go even before. I'm sure once the temple is built, I'm sure all of you will visit, right? In fact, since Yogi Adityanath has become a chief minister, and Ankurji, excuse me, I'm like digressing a little bit. Such a lovely audience, I thought.
Yeah, please,
Uh,
please.
yeah, since Yogi Adityanath has become the chief minister, Diwali has become a grand event. There's a laser show, there is a Malaysian Ramayan, there is a lot of kind of Ramayanas being displayed. So make a life goal that one Deepavali you should celebrate in Ayodhya, right? That's a lovely life goal, isn't it? Right? And luckily that time of the year, it's a decent weather also in India. It's a very good, like a 15-20 degree temperature, right? Which is a very good temperature for India, right? Like a, yeah. Oh, you are visiting Ayodhya in November 8th. Beautiful. Diwali is 4th of November this year, I guess, right? The celebration will be on 3rd of November. Even I heard even maybe Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be in Ayodhya. So okay, so when Ramji and Sita ji came back, they got this gift at Kanak Bhavan. And can you guess who gifted them? You'll be surprised to know the answer if you don't know already. Who gifted them? And that's the hint that you will be surprised to know that, oh, this person gifted, oh my God, Kanak Bhavan. And then from that I'll take a clue. Kekai, beautiful. My God, we have bonds here. Pallavi ji, all of you, right? Because right, KK was not the best in future in Ayodhya Kand. Okay, so they got this, and with that, let me move to Ayodhya Kand, and let me pick one more example, right? One more example. So now we all know Rama was decided to become as to be made the next king. The whole city was very happy. People were distributing sweets. They were deciding what to wear tomorrow, and tomorrow was the coronation. Right? Tomorrow was the coronation. The whole world was happy. Only Manthara was not happy. Manthara comes to Kekai, poisons her mind, and convinces her that okay, ask those two boons that Dashrata has given you. And Kekai says, I'm sure you all know the boons, that make my son Bharat the king and send Rama to jungle for 14 long years. Right? Right? And this was a promise this Dashrath has given Kekai couple of years back. It was an oral promise. No one apart from Dashrath and Kekai knows about that promise. So Dashrath had an option to go back on the promise, then don't honor the promise, because no one, and see that he will lose his son, right? Because he was very close to his son, but Ayodhya will lose such an amazing king, right? Right? Now I want to put you in Dashrath's shoes and tell me, imagine you are King Dashrath and you don't have any signed agreement with KK. It's just a verbal promise which you and KK know. No one else knows. And KK asks for this such a weird demand. What will you do? Tell me frankly, really, brutally, truthfully. What will you do? Right? Because Ayodhya will lose such an amazing king. You will lose your son, that's one, but Ayodhya will lose such an amazing king. Right? Right? Or you will say, okay, KK, fine, I will honor my, but ask for something better. I can work on your whims. How can an elected king can go to jungle like for no reason, right? Because you want you want that to happen. That's not done. Ask me something else. Okay. Okay. So 30% of modern Dashrathas will follow the promise, and 70% of modern Dashrathas have are not fond of following promises. Right? Okay. So what Dashratha has done is a little different. He said, Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Aayi, Pran Jai Par Vachan Na Jai. Meaning, it was a tradition in my family. Raghu was one of his forefathers, which was set by likes of Ishwaku, likes of Harishan, like of Raghus, that I'm ready to give my life, but I'll not go back on a promise. I know I may lose my life. Without Rama, I can't even eat food, I can't sleep. And he eventually died after a couple of months. Right? But if I will not follow the promise, who will follow the promise? I have to establish the legend of promise keeping. Can you imagine that? Don't we break so many promises throughout the day? We give a promise in the morning, by the evening it's push, right? In fact, legal agreement, check bouncing, right? Legal agreements, half of the courts are filled with agreements which are not honored, right? In fact, I call it that today's society is a CCTV society, right? We are behaving good because there's a CCTV watching us, not because we want to behave good. Because there's a CCTV, there's a police, there's a government. And here nobody is watching Dashrath because no one knows about the promise. He's behaving good because he wants to behave good. And the hindsight is such extreme that he will lose his son for 14 years or maybe eventually forever because he may die, right? Even then he follows the promise, right? That's why I say Ramayana is a gold standard and it gives us a beautiful ethical framework to decide in life, right? So similarly, every class we'll go to lots of leadership lessons. I just picked two of them just to showcase how we and we do a lot of discussion, right? So this is one part of our course. The second part of the course, like first 6 weeks or 6 sessions, are around the from Balkand to Yuddhakand. We spend almost 1.5 hours every class, and at times the debate goes longer on the story, exactly what happens, the pros and cons. Do you agree with the character? Do you agree with Ram? Do you agree with Hanuman? All of that, right? And what can we bring out of that? What can we learn? The second part is that the historicity, as Ankurji alluded to, itihasa or history, are they equivalent? Because there are a lot of, as Rajiv Manotra says, there are a lot of Sanskrit non-translatables, right? Atma is not soul, right? History is not itihas, or itihas is not history. So from Ayodhya to Prayag to Chitrakoot to Panchvati to Kishkinda to Rameshwaram to Lanka, right? So Ramji starts from Ayodhya, and finally the edge of the current boundary of India was in Dhanushkoti, Tamil Nadu. Do you want to quickly put your Google phones and try to find a distance? It'll be a fun exercise. The starting point is Ayodhya, right? Ayodhya, Uttar Pradesh. And the end point is Dhanushkodi. Dhanushkodi, Tamil Nadu. TN. Tell me what's the distance? What is the distance in kilometers? I know you are the miles guys, but tell me in kilometers. I don't understand miles much. You can type, or maybe I do have a response. Oh, wow. I have a response sheet also. Find the Google Maps and the distance between Ayodhya and Dhanushkoti. Is it about 100 kilometers? Is it around 550, 1050, or 2400? What is it about? You can write here on the chat. 2497 to be precise, Arunji. Beautiful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Right, right, right. So a Ramayana which was written 14,000 years back, the distances can be measured appropriately in modern software using Google Maps. And similarly, Nilesh Oka has done a lot of dating exercises, right? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we use various tools to also establish the historicity, right? Now, before I want to spend 5 minutes on this Itihasa history battle, right? Before, I just want to know who is the most inspiring character from Valmiki Ramayana as per you. Do type on the link so that I can see this. Mata Sita, Hanumanji, right? Vijayji, if you can write on the link, it'll be a beautiful flow of words on my screen. If many of you will write the same character with the same spelling, that name will become big. So if Hanumanji is looking big, meaning many of you have written Hanumanji. Vibhishan, Ravan, Sita, Lakshman. Beautiful. Let this names emerge. Beautiful. You know, I was taking this session, Ankurji, with a couple of kids last month. And when these names came, one girl from, I think, Chicago, she was 12 years old. She said, I'm very happy to see these names because my civilization is a civilization of real heroes. And because the country I'm living in, and she was taking the jibe on US, they have to create a lot of artificial heroes like Spider-Mans and Captain Americas. They're living in their computer heroes world, but I'm a civilization of real heroes. I don't need plastic computer created heroes. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And can we unmute someone and people can talk, Anguruji? Can they talk to me? Is that possible?
Yeah. Is there somebody in
Okay,
particular?
Okay. Yeah. No. Anyone who want to raise hand and just tell me why Hanumanji or why Lakshman or whoever, if they want to raise their hand and somehow can we pick 2-3 participants? I just want to hear.
Yeah.
Why?
Devi G's raising her hand. Let me allow her to
Okay.
talk. You're up, Devi G. You can unmute
Okay.
yourself. You have to click the unmute and tell us. Wow, we got 6-7 people have raised their hands. Okay, Devi G, are you ready to unmute? No, I've got Revati Joshi Ji. You have been asked to unmute and share. There you go.
Yes, because I think that Hanuman represents the epitome of bhakti.
Hanuman represent honeymoon of epitome of bhakti.
Epitome
And Revati ji, yeah, it represents the height of bhakti. And you know, I found last time in India there are more Hanuman temples than Ramji temple, right? The Bhakt has more temples than the God himself, which is so lovely, right? That's the power of bhakti, and you said it in so beautifully. Yeah, Deviji, I think now you can also talk. I think you are.
I think that was Devi Ji, right?
Oh,
Thank
that
you,
was
Devi
Devi.
Ji.
Okay.
Revati Ji, you're up next.
Yeah, I think Bharat is the most important person in Valmiki in Ramayana because he represents sincerity, love, affection towards the elders.
Yeah.
Which I think in Indian society we have to emphasize that a lot.
Right. And Revati ji, what Bharata has done is, I think, outstanding, keeping in mind today's terms, right? What is happening in Chitrakoot is mind-boggling, right? Ram and Bharat are standing in front of each other, and Bharat is saying, you have to come back and you have to become the king because you are the most deserving, and I can't take something which I'm not deserving. And Ram is saying, no, you go back and become the king. I don't see two brothers today who are saying, no, boss, you become the CEO, and the boss is saying, no, you become the CEO. Today, there are splits and multiple splits in the company because of family fights, right? From Ambani's to Ranbexy's, there are multiple examples in India, right? And then we see this epitome of sacrifice in form of Bharat. Beautiful. Can we take just one more person?
How about Poonam Ji?
Yeah. Poonam Ji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Shantanu Ji, it's nice to see you. I've been on several of your shows. I believe that she is the ideal and ultimate in empowered woman. She chooses when she needs to sacrifice, when she needs to put her foot down. And the amazing thing was that impressed me most and actually helped me out in my own personal life was in the end when Ram Chandraji comes face to face with this Ashwamedh Ghodaka thing with his sons, and he says, "Okay, you come back." तो बोलती है अब मैं नहीं आऊंगी हो गया काम you know that was very amazing पूरे time she has performed every duty without any regret, without any complaint, and she chose to do it. It was not that she was forced to do.
Yeah, exactly. The Vanvasa, Poonam ji, and I'm muting you. The Vanvas was only for Ramji. Sita chose to come along. She could have lived nicely in the palace, right? She chose to come along in that tough life. Yeah, beautifully. And then she's a super strong character. Okay, I want to do one more small quick exercise, which is my favorite. Let's kill the Ravana within, right? Which we do in our session. We do a lot of other exercises. So in this last 1.5 years, I took Ramayana school online and able to do a tie-up with Hindu University of America and able to do workshop with thousands and thousands of people, right? I was procrastinating it from last couple of years. Oh, let me take physical classes. That's easy, right? So, and I have to do for the wrong reason of Corona. Like Corona should not have any reason to make it online, right? It could have been done otherwise, right? So I want to kill my Ravana of procrastination, right? Now, any one of you, do you want to kill your Ravana in front of 100 people from 100 different cities, right? Maybe you can lower your hands, your previous hands, because that was for a different exercise. And if you can raise your hands again, and then Ankurji will try to unmute a couple of you. And if new names can come, the people who have not spoken, Poonamji, Deviji, you have spoken already, I think. Maybe Sagarji, Shantaji.
Yeah, let's get Sagar. Did he unraise his hand? Shantaji has had their hand up from the start. I don't know if it's on this subject or something else.
Someone who wants to kill the Ravana within.
Hargopalji.
Yeah. And
Oh, shall I
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, Hargopalji.
Can you put the question again? I'm Hargopal.
So I want to see, do you want to kill some Ravana within you, right? With whatever discussion we had in the last 45 minutes.
I think the answer is obvious, because unless you kill Ravana within yourself, then you won't become Rama. So, so Ravana is to be killed so that we can be like what you call Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma, because Rama is embodiment of Dharma. So unless we kill Ravana in ourselves, within us, we won't become the embodiment of Dharma like Rama. That's my mission. I am Professor Hargopal from Hyderabad, from India.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else? Anyone else want to contribute? One more person we can pick. And then I'll do 5 more minutes of discussion, and then maybe.
Yeah, how about Rashik and Jyoti? They're on phone, older version of Zoom, cannot allow. Dr. Anita Bella.
Yeah, I thought that if one is, sometimes completely convinced that one is right, but that is the time when you need to listen to other voices and consider them.
Beautiful, beautifully said, beautifully said. And Banita ji, in Ramayana, there are a lot of incidents we'll see they're juxtaposing Ravana and Rama, that how Ravana is not listening to anyone and how Rama is listening every voice available in his team, right? Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. So I just want to give you a preview that how we use different tools so that in our sessions, beautiful conversation can happen. Okay, if you're not able to speak, do you want to quickly write which Ravana quality within you want to kill today? Because we may not want to, and here we will not even get to know who is writing what. So Bindas, you can write. We will not get to know about you. Nobody will point at you. Ego, who does not have that? Our big fat egos. Dumb, beautiful. Quick moral judgments, krodh, ego, procrastination, beautiful, beautiful. Let it flow. Anger. And you just said it. We all have these in some ratio. Yeah, pride, anger, arrogance. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Overeating, exactly. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Now, let's spend 4-5 more minutes on this. Is Ramayana myth or history? What do you think? With whatever understanding of the word history you have. Or maybe somewhere in between. Because normally binaries give rise to a good debate. That's why I only kept binary. Myth or history? Okay. So in Indian text, we have Shrutis, we have Smritis. In Smritis, and there's a longest discussion we do toward the course, in Smritis we have Itihasa, Purana and Smriti. One Smriti is under Smriti. And Itihasa, we have Valmiki Ramayana and Mahabharata. Even Ramcharitmanas is not the part of Itihasa. Only we have two Itihasas, Valmiki Ramayana and Ved Vyasa Mahabharata. And when I say Itihasa, you know what does that mean? Itihasa is not equal to history. Itihasa has history element. Itihasa has three elements. One element is Purva Vrittam. This is the definition of Itihasa. Purva Vrittam is it has happened in the past. That's the history connotation, right? What do you mean by history? That has happened in the past. The next element is, the first element is it has happened in the past. So Itihasa is for sure history, but history is not Itihasa. Itihasa is history for sure, because it has one component, it has to happen in the past. It's not a concocted story, it's not a fiction. Second part is Katha Yuktam. It is told as an interesting story so that it live long, right? It's second part is Purva Vrittam, but Katha Yuktam. It should be narrated as a story. That's the second element of Itihasa. And the third element is very important. What is the purpose? So, okay, one is Purva Vrittam. So, was it just for documentation so that I know my past? Right? Was it only to enjoy a story? Wow, such a fascinating story. Because Ramayana is a fascinating story also, just as a story. Right? Like lot of climaxes. Right? Is that the purpose? Is purpose the documentation of history? Is purpose to be entertained? No. That's just a side purpose. The purpose is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That through the characters, through the interactions, through the story, you can attain Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Different element, different stages of life. And that's the third element of being Itihasa, right? And that's why Ramayana and Mahabharata are so important in Indian scriptures. Because it's written as a katha. So anybody will enjoy it. It's not like a very erudite Vedas or very erudite Upanishads, right? It's a story. So, and there are layers to it. So one layer is a story. Even a kid will understand a story. Oh, wow, such a fascinating story. There's war happening. There is love, hate, demons, right? Everything is happening, right? And then as you grow, you'll find, oh my God, there's one more layer. There's a layer of morality, right? Someone like Dr. Nilesh Oak saw the lens of there are so many star positions, and he has discovered that there's the exact dating can be done of Ramayana. Someone found what are the fauna and flora found in the Ramayana path. Someone found architecture in Ramayana. So there are a lot of learnings. But the idea is how Rama lived his life for those 14 years. We know about King Dashrath. We know about Lava-Kush. But do we pray King Dashrath? We don't. Do we pray Lava-Kush? We don't. We revere them as good king. But Rama became Lord Ram or Bhagwan Ram because of this journey of 14 years. That's why it's called Ramayana, the Yatra of Rama, the journey of Rama, right? And which his conduct, which makes him Bhagwan Ram, it has an element of learning of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And that's the real purpose. So during our class, a lot of participants get stuck in the story part. Oh my God, this is the story, Ramcharitmanas story is good, or the Valmiki Ramayana story is good, or the Adhyatma Ramayana element. Is Sita was Janakpuri in Bihar or today's Nepal? That's one part. For sure, you should be curious about it. Someone says, oh, did it really happen? How can Jatayu talk? Jatayu was an animal. What Hanumanji a Vanar? Those facts, right? And someone like Dr. Kalyan, who heads HUA, he says, these are just incidental. The purpose is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. What I get out of the story, that was a larger purpose. Right? Story is just incidental to it. Right?
Yeah. So I hope everyone has gotten a lot out of this webinar so far. Amazing journey. I love the interactiveness.
Oh, you got muted. You got muted.
Let me drop in the chat the course. So there's the link to the course. It's every Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So I guess that's Sunday morning for you, Shantanu Ji, right? Because of the time difference. And I know the time issue, but this is what we've settled on. It's starting October 9th. And right now we'd like to announce a $100 discount. So if you join by Monday night in the next, 48 hours or so, you will get an extra $100 discount and get on this journey with Shantanu Ji and hopefully a whole course of people, and you'll have interaction and answer these questions. And right now we're in webinar mode, so you can't see everyone's video and all those sorts of things. But in the course, and Shantanu Ji, you can maybe talk about the previous experience. And if we have another student who took the course with you, we could have them give a quick testimonial. But if you want to give kind of an outline on the course, and I'll do a little part of it. So at Hindu University of America, we have a learning management system, right? We're a proper university where you enroll, you get an email address, and week by week, Shantanu Ji will tell you, these are the readings. This is what I want to focus on. Here's the assignment. And you'll be able to scroll through and participate in a structured journey through understanding the Ramayana. It's not just we put you on your own and you watch a recording and hope you have it. You can have weekly live interaction with Shantanu Ji, who's obviously the expert. I had fun just being here, and I hope you did too. And I think the course is going to be like that as well. So we can take some more questions on that. But Shantanu Ji, if you want to talk a little bit about the course and where it's at, and that's the link. I'll drop it in the chat again. Please do click. Again, $100 discount for the next couple of days. Let's get this enrollment up. It'll make the course more exciting to have more people sharing their perspectives from around the world and engaging in this important journey.
So Ankurji, we had a beautiful spring batch. We had a beautiful summer batch just concluded, and in this 10-12 sessions, what we do, we pack, I think, the first 6 sessions from Balkan to Yuddhakand, and we debate, we counter debate that what can we bring out of this story, right? So the story, exact facts go into your head. But idea is to unravel. How can we unravel? And as all the participants, we do it together. That's one. And then the next 4 or 5 sessions, we spend on the historicity, a lot of arguments. How can I argue that Ramayana is history or myth or mythology or not? Were Vanaras monkeys or the human beings? How come there's something flying? How come Pushpakavan was flying, right? Lot of such debates then we settle. What is the mystery of, or what is the dilemma of Vali's Vad? How can Rama be Maryada Purushottam and kill Bali hiding behind a tree? How can Rama be Maryada Purushottam when he's taking the Agni Pariksha of Mata Sita? So then we do a lot of these debates. And then we keep sending a lot of puzzles, a lot of crossword puzzles, and then we do 2 small assignments during the course. And that's how it's a interactive course. And idea is, after those 10 weeks, you develop your own framework of a very ethical, strong framework of decision making, which is based on Ramayana. And that's what Ramayana was written for us. And that's why even after 14,000 years, Ramayana is popular in more than 100 countries. Not only in a Hindu India, it's popular in Islamic Indonesia. It's popular in a Buddhist Malaysia. It's popular in Buddhist Sri Lanka. It's popular in Christian Philippines. Right? They have a legend after legend of Ramayana. Right? So that's how we pack the course, Ankurji.
Beautiful. Let me just launch this quick poll. Just let us know. Are you interested in enrolling in Shantanu Ji's course? Just yes, no, maybe have questions. It allows us to make sure that we follow up. Love to have you just complete this so we can be targeted. The course is usually $300. Somebody asked, with the discount, it will be $200 US dollars. We also have a scholarship for Girmitya countries and Greater Bharat. So I'll drop the link to that scholarship also. That's an open thing because we know the cost issues are different depending on where you are at. If you have questions, you can drop them in the Q&A box and we can get into those. I know people have been using the chat box, and obviously Shantanu Ji, like you're saying, we're very familiar with the Zoom functions and have done all these different tools. So please keep those questions coming. And Shantanu Ji, depending on your time, we're at the top of the hour. Just a few more questions. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I can take a couple of questions. Let's see.
All right. So Satish Ji is asking, didn't Ram stay in Ramtik before going to Panchavati? And so maybe the details of the whole historicity, where they are, that's kind of an interesting question that you can talk about in context of the course and how you go through it.
What did he ask? I'm not
Ram stay in Ramtik before going to Panchavati.
Yeah, so before going to Panchavati, there was in fact, there's a lot of travel. In fact, he has almost completed 11 years of his Vanvas. Out of those 14 years, not even 11, 12 years of Vanvas are almost over, right? So he spent some time in Chitrakoot, and then he spent a lot of time in Dandaka Aranya. 1 day with one Rishi, 1 week with one Rishi, sometime 1 month, sometime 1 year. And he was just learning, right? And Ankurji, this was fascinating, right? He lost his kingdom. And what is he doing? He's just, it's almost like Corona, right? People lost their jobs, people lost their dear and near ones. But what best we could have done is just keep relearning and learning, right? That's what Rama did. He just kept on improving him as a person. And in the process, he became from King Ram to Bhagwan Ram. So yeah, you're right. Before reaching Panchvati, he spent a lot of time, almost 12 years in different places in Dandakaranya, which is today's Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, those areas, right?
Interesting. Vaibhavji is asking, will there be an online community to interact with one another during the course and after the course? So after the course, we have some WhatsApp groups and some alumni things and emails. But during the course, Shantanu Ji, how do you want to facilitate the communication?
So during the course of the whole cohort talk to each other, we have a lot of counter discussions. And I think by the time in second, third class, we also keep getting each other's biases. And I think we help each other to articulate, re-articulate what exactly their sense is. And then we have a emailing group for a particular batch where people keep sharing a lot of things. In fact, people organize their own sessions after that. I've seen in communities, there's organize more sessions after that, right?
Nice. Q&A box. Oh, here's a long one. Kind of on the historicity, right? I don't know if you can see, many scholars raise doubts on whether the Uttarkanda was originally written by Maharishi Valmiki. So some of the reasons given, and he goes into it, but if you want to
that's almost like a module for us. We spend almost half an hour on that. So I don't want to give a clear answer right now. So yes or no, there are doubts both the sides, that because the story does end at Yuddhakand, right? Because there are Falashruti slokas at the end of Yuddhakand. And Uttarakhand was written later. But later, was it written by Valmiki or someone else? And was it written just as an extension or as a sabotage? These are the questions to be debated. And with facts and figures available, we do debate that. And these are like the second part of the course. The first part is the story, learning, leadership lessons, life lessons. Second part is the meta information, right? Proving historicity, how it's written, which part, how. So we discuss all of that.
And so we had Pallavi ask earlier, and I wanted to dovetail, kind of on that same angle, but also saying, shouldn't these different versions be discouraged?
See, who are in our tradition, Ankurji, there is no one satta to decide, right? There is no church in Vatican who will decide what will be read, what will not. And that's why we are a tradition of Shastrarth, right? And we are also not a preachy civilization of a book. Even when Gita asks about food, it doesn't say eat vegetarian food. It says there is a sattvic food, there is a tamasic food, there is a rajasic food. If you eat sattvic food, this will happen to you. If you eat tamasic food, this will happen to you. You decide. So our text, consider we as intelligent people. It gives us all shades of information and you decide, right? So that's why discouraging a book is not a typical civilization. But yeah, keeping today's ethos, and maybe a lot of people may construe, a lot of people may tweak, and they will say dismantling Hindutva and all of that, right? So yeah, there are different layers to it, and we discuss a lot of these layers during our course.
Yeah, and I'd like just to emphasize, Hindu University of America is about that nuance and the layers and presenting different ideas, not saying this is right, you're wrong, and going forward with it, because as Hindus, we know that's not how we operate. And I think this course, where we're going to get into those debates and you're going to do it week by week and encourage the conversation and, invite the questions, I think it'll be very, very interesting and exciting. Somnaji is asking, can Shantanu Ji comment on how in both Ramayana and Mahabharata, the son upheld the father's word as a promise law to be fulfilled as Dharma? Maybe that's a lesson.
Promise is an important topic, and maybe I can put a word, and it's the longest discussion, and how it unfolds in Mahabharata and how it unfolds in Ramayana is very different. If you see, let's draw a graph. So let's say x-axis is rules that should be followed in life, right? And the y-axis is the larger principles for this rules have to be followed, right? So rules in x-axis and larger principles in y-axis. Then you will find various kind of characters. Some who will never follow rules, no principles, like Duryodhan, Ravana, right? No rules, no principles. someone who will follow all the rules and follow all the principles. Someone like Rama, he followed all the rules and make sure the larger principles are upheld, right? Right? Someone who will not follow the rules but hold the larger principles. Someone like Krishna, he broke a lot of rules, but the idea is the larger dharma has to be maintained. But someone, which is the last quadrant, is very interesting, got stuck in rules so much that forgot the larger principles. You know who is that? Bhishma and Yudhishthira. They got stuck in following the rules so much that, oh, I have given this promise that I cannot get out of the Dyut Krida, this game of dice, because I have promised. Maybe I'll lose my wife, my brothers, I don't mind, right? So he got stuck in rules but forgot the larger principles. Similarly, Bhishma, he said, oh, I will be loyal to this kingdom. Even then, someone like Duryodhana will sit on it. Right? That's why someone like Krishna has to come. He says, okay, I will keep the rules away if my larger principle, larger dharma are. That's why I'm saying keeping promises is not a very simple discussion. And as Ankurji said, in HUA courses, these are the layers, these are the discussions we encourage, and during the class, they unfurl very beautifully.
Nice. And you're going to get into Ramaji's decision making, and
exactly.
You know, one of the big ones that Saiji brings up is the decision to put Sita Ji through Agni.
Exactly.
Agni Pariksha, right? And so each of these is going to be a whole conversation, and I don't know if we want to get into that now, but just again in context. And then one big question that Deepa Ji is
I just give a hint so people can think. We play a lot of roles, Ankurji, right? We play a role of a father, a son, a husband, a colleague, a citizen of a country, and these are, I call all of them dharmas. My country dharma, my father dharma, my son dharma, my husband dharma, all of that. And a lot of these dharmas can conflict at some time, right? And both of them are not wrong. My dharma as a citizen, my dharma as a husband are not wrong dharmas per se, absolutely, right? But they conflict. I have to find which is the better dharma to follow. That's why the smart thing is Ramayana and Mahabharata both are a very nuanced text. The conflict is not between a good and a bad, but that's a very easy conflict, isn't it? I will choose good. There's no fun. Both the conflicts are between one dharma and another dharma. That's why it's a very nuanced text, that I have to choose one dharma over another competing dharma. And that's made it a very nuanced text. And that's why it's a discussion. What Rama did, there's a debate. Shall I do good for my country, or shall I do good for my wife? Right? And he chooses one. That's why he's a part of debate. So I just want to leave it there, that this is a classic example of conflicting dharma, and a character Rama chose one in that situation. Right?
Very nice. I think that really encapsulates it, that conflicting and the different layers of dharma. Shantanu Ji, if you want to stop sharing screen, the last question that I have, I think it opens up into a closing kind of statement. Deepa Ji is saying, what is the spiritual significance behind the Ramayana? So that's kind of like a big open question, and you can dovetail into the course. And we have no more questions. So closing thoughts.
See, to my understanding, as I told you, as many times you read Ramayana, you will get a different lesson, and you will get a lesson for which you are inquiring for, right? If you are inquiring for leadership lessons, you'll get leadership lessons. If you get strong woman characters, you'll get that. If you get what leadership lessons, life lessons, you will get that. But the larger spiritual significance, and you use the word Girmitiyas for following the scholarship, you know what a Girmitiyas are. Girmitiyas are nothing but a lot of people from largely Uttar Pradesh and Bihar who moved to West Indian countries, right? As labor, as bonded labor. And you know what they carried with them? They carried with them Ramcharitmanas. And they said, as Ram came back after his very tough vanvas, we will also go back to our motherland, which is India, which is Bharat, right? And that kept them thriving. Though many of them never came back, but they springed up in life. They became cricketers, they became industrialists, they became prime ministers, presidents of those countries in West India. Now Indian lot, and they have very Indian sounding names. You must have seen all of them, right? So though many of them never came back, but they came back in life. They were not bonded labor anymore. So that's why I'm saying Ramayana is a civilizational story of endurance. India is the only civilization which is surviving. All rest of the world is a very new word, right? We were able to discuss something as nuanced as Gita, Bhagavad Gita, 7,000 years back. A society has to be very elevated to even discuss that. A common reading of Gita, you don't even get anything. It's such a sophisticated text. But 7,000 years back, Indian society was discussing Gita, right? Meaning Ramayana, Mahabharata, these are the stories of endurance. And those endurance are almost in our DNA. And that's why we are surviving. That Rama, he lost his life, he lost his wife, and he lost his kingdom in those 14 years. Even then, he never lost his honesty. Even then, he never took shortcuts. And in the end, what happened? He won. Today, all of us from so many cities are discussing Rama, not Ravana, right? And that's his victory. So the spiritual significance is the significance of endurance, which Indian civilization carries generally, and that we unlayer during our sessions also. Yeah, that's my closing comments, Ankurji.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad everyone for attending. We hope we see you enrolled in this course with Shantanu Ji in the fall quarters starting soon. Maybe you'll join us for the next webinar, but we're on this journey together. Please join us in whichever way you can on this dharmic path. And Shantanu Ji, thank you so much. It was exciting. I loved the presentation and the interaction. Beautiful. Looking forward to continuing this work in collaboration with you and the broader community. Yeah, and we got people already enrolling. Love to see that. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you. Namaskar. Dhanyavad.